Looking at making an acoustic version rather than a full electric version of a cigar box guitar, I found this storage box made of solid wood. It's got a ply base which I'll have to modify anyway, but I wondered about maybe cutting it in half. It's a little bigger than the regular cigar box, so it's a little bit longer, and if I make it a little deeper than the regular box, it should have quite a good acoustic volume. So that's the basis of what we're going to start with and see how it goes. Using this strange saw that I found at a car boot sale. It's quite an interesting thing. It'll swivel both ways. It allows me to get in flat on here and get rid of this edge. After we've got the box sorted out, we need to find a neck. This is a bit of hardwood. Machine the end, saw and chisel, put on a back strap. This is a piece of oak here from my woodlands actually. It's not in fantastic condition, but it'll be fine to reinforce the back strap of the guitar. Then we need to make some cuts here for the neck to fit in, front and back, which is what we want to do now. Using a piece of aluminium channel with some abrasive paper stuck to it with double-sided tape. So you can finalise the size of the cutouts there, just to fit the neck comfortably into the box. It's a bit tight, need to ease it a bit. And looks a bit low there. We need to go a bit lower, sorry, because we've got to put the fretboard on the top and then the top of the box on there. So we need to go down about another 3 or 4 millimeters in depth of that slot. Here's the top of the box, which we've got here, which is about 2.5 mil thick. We can just check how much we've got there. And look as though we could do. It's going down about 2 more millimeters, that's all, in depth of that slot. Remembering that we've got the fretboard put in place on the top of that, so the combined height doesn't want to be too much above the top of the box. Once we've got the box cut out with the recesses for the neck, we've then got to relieve the centre section of the neck so that the top can vibrate easily. As this is going to be an acoustic version, that's a fairly good option, I think. As you can see, we're just leaving a block here in the centre. That's going to be where a piezo pickup disc is going to be mounted, and that's going to be in firm contact with the underside of the bridge. So I'm just chiseling out the remainder here to make space for the top to vibrate. After cutting out the relief for the centre section there, I've just chiselled a circle in the end for a piezo disc. That fits in there like that, so that'll be the electrification of an acoustic guitar that fits directly underneath the bridge. I've also drilled in the end the 3mm holes for the string ferrules, which are going to be pop rivets, and at the other end the 9mm holes there for the machine heads. After cutting the neck to fit, I've just got to glue on the fretboard, which I've just done, and left it overnight, and now we've just got to shape it down both sides. It's a little bit oversized, so I've got to plane it down on both sides. After shaping the fretboard, we then have to shape the neck, so just doing that now. First thing is to smooth off the back strap where it meets the neck to get it nice and smooth. This is a piece of oak. Begin shaping the neck. Cut about 45 degrees along the length with the spoke shape. Just about finished shaping the neck now, and as you can see, creates quite a lot of shaving, so that's the reason I do most of this sort of thing outside. Finished the neck now, shaping, and finished the cutouts in the box. Supports there now to screw through to retain the neck in the box. Drilled out a hole there for the jack socket. I'm going to put a plate on there to take that. The next stage is to fit the frets, which is a fairly straightforward operation as we've got the fretboard ready slotted. Tap the fret in. Trim off the end. And that's it. We've finished the frets off at the end, smooth them down afterwards. After fitting all the frets, we then got to dress them smooth at the edges. I use a good sharp file, a new file, which I've ground the edge off so that you can get into the side of the fret and make a nice smooth job without gouging lumps out of the side of the fretboard. We've also got a 5mm machine screw. I use a brass machine screw there for the top nut, and the next stage is to fit these bushes into the holes here for the machine heads. We're nearly at the end now of fitting all the parts to the neck. Just putting the machine heads in now. Pre-drilled the holes because the screws are very small, the self-tapping screws. All the parts, by the way, come from Chicken Bone John. He's a well-known supplier of all these sort of things, and it's handy because you only need to buy a set of 3, and there are the right and the wrong way of putting these in. The idea is that the tension from the string will force the gear, will pivot about there, it'll force the gear into contact with each other. If you put it if they have them the other way round, then the force of the string can in fact spread the gear away from the worm. So we pop them in that way, a set of 3 from Chicken Bone John. And with the pre-drilled hole, you just need to snug them in, don't need to go in too tight, you just got to hold them in place. That's it. Oh, one last little job to do is to position the fret markers. I used a filed off end of a electric soldering iron. Just press them in and it burns in. I've done the same along the top of the neck. I've just installed the neck into the box, and the last couple of jobs: wire up the jack socket and fit this piezo disc. I'm going to use hot melt glue to fit that piezo disc directly underneath the bridge position. Although this is supposedly an acoustic cigar box guitar, we're going to electrify it with a just a piezo option. And we've got the engraving there by Phoenix Engraving in Bradfield, and just giving it a final sand down before we fit the bridge and the strings. We're just about home. I've just finished putting on the first coat of Danish oil, and that's the sort of effect it gets with the colour. It certainly changes pretty quickly when you start adding the oil, and it looks pretty good now. I've been around with a blow lamp, as you can see, giving it the antique scorched look. Well, I've just strung it up. It's sounding fairly good. I've got the high E series of strings. Fitted a strap button. Finished off with the Danish oil. I've got a monogram on the top there for my grandson, who's going to be using it, I hope. This is the trio that I've just finished. You've got low E on here on the fretless, G, D, G, and E, B, E. So it's worked out pretty well acoustically.